YouTube, what's good? It's your guy, Darian, Bowtie Fragrance Guy, man. We back. Got another video for you today. So on this channel, well, you know, of course, what I talk about at this time is fragrances and fashion. So if you like looking good and smelling great, this might be a channel that you find some value in. So I invite you to go ahead and make sure you click the subscribe button and take a quick second, if you don't mind, to hit the bell icon as well to make sure you get notified when I upload new content on the channel. So on today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys my top 10 spring fragrances of all time. Now, I've kind of started this, what I would call a series of some sort on top fragrances of all time in different genres and different categories. And I want to have that on file, on record, because I think it's good. I know we do the seasonal videos of spring, summer fragrances, complimented, these kind of things, which change a lot, but I think it's good to have kind of like a comprehensive list that I think will kind of withstand the test of time. So you can always come back and reference this list. Although the seasonal, yearly lists bring different fragrances, I think these are some of the best. So having a list like this on file to make reference to, I think is really, really good. So again, that's what we're going to be getting in today, guys. We're going to be getting into the top 10 spring fragrances from my collection. Again, this is a very subjective thing, and I may do another installment of it. Who knows? But for right now, 10 of the best spring fragrances I have in my collection coming up next. So if you want to hear what made the list, you already know how we get down. Keep it locked right here. All right, guys, we're back. Thank you so much for keeping it locked in, man. We're going to go ahead and jump into these fragrances. I do want to start off by saying I have two quick honorable mentions, and these are two great spring fragrances as well. I just have some other fragrances on this list that I think exemplify the season of spring more. Now, really quickly, when I think about spring, I think about florals. I think about green fragrances. I think about notes like vetiver, tea, things of that nature really are good spring fragrances to me. Now, spring, summer, fall, winter, if I had to categorize each or give a descriptive word for each season when you talk about temperatures, of course I would say spring is warm weather, summer is hot weather, fall is cool, and winter is cold. Fall and spring are the transitional period. So warm weather fragrances are really what spring is about. So two quick honorable mentions. The first is Tom Ford Grey Vetiver. And the next honorable mention goes to Chanel Allure Homme Sport, the original Chanel Allure Homme Sport, not Eau Extreme, but Allure Homme Sport. These are two great fragrances I feel like to wear in the springtime that are really going to withstand the test of time. Both of these fragrances have been for a while, and they have been doing just that, standing the test of time. This one right here is the nice citrusy fragrance with a nice green undertone, like I talked about, and this is a nice kind of masculine, earthy vetiver fragrance that really just works for any man. So two quick honorable mentions on this list again for Tom Ford Grey Vetiver. This is the Eau de Parfum, and Chanel Allure Homme Sport. Now, coming in at the 10th spot on this list, it's in the 10th spot because from what I understand, this fragrance is now discontinued, which is very, very sad. If you don't have it in your collection, it may be hard to find now. But this one is from the house of Gucci, and this is Gucci Pour Homme 2. Gucci Pour Homme 2. And again, in the opening, I talked about what? Tea. One of the best tea fragrances ever created by the house of Gucci. Again, if it was not discontinued, I probably would have put this higher on the list. But this is a really nice representation of, again, a nice tea note. I think it's black tea. You have some musk on the dry down of this. A little bit of tobacco leaf as well. This is just an amazing scent. And I want to go slow and make sure I go slow running through this bottle because, again, it's kind of hard to get now. But amazing fragrance to wear in the springtime from the house of Gucci. This is Gucci Pour Homme 2. All right, guys, coming in at the 9th spot on this list. Again, when I think about spring, I think about flowers blooming. So floral notes in a fragrance really makes a good spring scent. And this one is from the house of Frederick Mall, and this is Lys Mediterranee. Lys Mediterranee from the house of Frederick Mall. And this is a great representation of a beautiful floral fragrance. The main note in this is a lily. You have some lily, some lotus, but on the dry down, you get some musk and some vanilla. So it keeps it from going too feminine. This is definitely a unisex scent. But again, one of the things I love about Frederick Mall fragrances is performance and quality of the ingredients used. And again, if you want to talk about a beautiful floral scent where you're going to get some quality and some performance, this is one I highly recommend. It's gorgeous, from the house of Frederick Mall. This is called Lys Mediterranean. Now, coming in at the 8th spot on this list, I am going to the house of Prada, and this is Prada L'Homme. Prada L'Homme. This is the quintessential office fragrance. Of course, the star player in this, I don't have to talk about this one much, is the iris note. So that nice powdery iris that you get in this fragrance, it is gorgeous. And again, if we talk about fragrances that you will wear in the springtime, I think this is one that has become a staple for most people around that time of year. So it had to make the list from the house of Prada. This one is called Prada L'Homme. All right, coming in at the 7th spot is a fragrance that I talk about oftentimes on this channel, and again, it exemplifies the springtime from the house of Hermes. This is Terre de Hermes. Terre de Hermes, and of course, what you're going to get with this is a nice, earthy, orange vetiver fragrance. That's really what this is. It has some gunflint in this. Again, vetiver on the dry down, but man, this is just one of my favorite scents of all time, and definitely one that is well deserving of a list like this. A nice orange kind of citrusy opening, but again, when you get the gunflint and the earthiness that comes in from the vetiver, just takes it to a whole nother level. Absolutely love this stuff from the house of Hermes. This is Terre de Hermes. All right, now coming in at the 6th spot on this list, we are going to the house of Byredo, and this one is called Bal d'Afrique. Bal d'Afrique. Now, I've talked about before when I talk about Sicily from Mancera. There's something about this fragrance as well to me that is just mouth-watering when I smell it. But it smells so good, man. The main player here, of course, is that African marigold note. African orange flower is what it's called. And man, this is just a beautiful scent. Again, it opens up with a nice, fresh, citrusy open with some Amalfi lemon. But the star player in this, again, is the florals in it. The florals really take center stage in this fragrance. And again, florals work really well in the springtime. So from the house of Byredo, check this one out if you haven't. This one is called Bal d'Afrique. All right, coming in at the 5th spot on this list, we're going to the house of Creed, and this one is called Original Vetiver. Original Vetiver. Now, everything about this fragrance screams springtime, from the green bottle color to, of course, the juice on the inside. This is another one of those Creed fragrances to me that's kind of underrated. I mean, I know there was Mugler cologne out there, and if you want to go with that one, I can't blame you, but this performs a lot better, and I do smell the quality of the ingredients used in this fragrance. This batch that I have is from 2016, but man, this is such a good representation of spring. You have iris in this, musk, sandalwood, and of course, vetiver. Just, again, what spring fragrances should be all about. From the house of Creed, this is Original Vetiver. All right, coming in at the 4th spot, one of my favorite fragrances in my entire collection, from the house of Mary St. Francis Kirkjohn. This is called Baccarat Rouge 540. Baccarat Rouge 540. Now, I do have the extrait version of this as well, which I would wear the extrait more in the fall time. It does have the addition of that beautiful almond accord in the extrait, which again, of course, again, gives a little bit of texture to the fragrance, so it works well better in the fall time. But for the spring, look no further than this one right here from the house of Maison Francis Kirkjohn. This is Baccarat Rouge 540. All right, the top 3 fragrances on this list are absolute bangers, man. Some of my favorite fragrances of all time, honestly. Coming in at the 3rd spot, this one is coming from the house of Amouage, and this is Reflection. Reflection, man. Again, florals, jasmine, the main note in this, and a nice creamy sandalwood. That's really all I have to say about this fragrance. But again, Amouage is quality through and through, and it's hard for me to think about spring fragrances and not think about Reflection, man. Again, this to me is also what spring fragrances should be and are about. From the house of Unwise, this one is called Reflection Man. All right, coming in at the number 2 spot, this fragrance comes from the house of Bond Number 9, and it's Bleak Street. Bleak Street from Bond Number 9. Look, I know I talk about this fragrance a lot. I wouldn't say it was hyped by me, but I love it. And I always talk about the contrast that I get with this in the opening. You get a nice green opening. You got some blueberry in this. Very unique combination of notes, but on the dry down, you get the caramel, of course, the musk. This is just a gorgeous scent. The bottle is gorgeous as well, and I always have to say that when I talk about this fragrance. I absolutely love this bottle. But this is just, again, a very nice green fragrance that has some gourmand tendencies. So it has a very unique overall scent character and DNA for the springtime, but it really, really works. It works from the house of Bond Number 9. One of my favorites as well. This one is called Bleak Street. All right, now coming in at the number 1 spot, I don't know if there ever will be a fragrance that will dethrone this for me, in my mind, as the number 1 spring fragrance of all time from the house of Creed. This right here, Green Iris Tweed. Green Iris Tweed is so sophisticated and so great when you talk about quality. Again, this batch that I have is from 2000. Yes, a 15W01 batch, and Creed was still kicking behind at that time, man. This is the best spring fragrance of all time, in my humble opinion. You have a nice lemon verbena in this. You have some iris, some sandalwood. Oh, man. The best of all time for springtime. Just, you guys know what this fragrance is. Check it out if you haven't for some strange reason. But when you talk about spring, you have to get your nose on this. From the house of Creed, this is Green Iris Tweed. All right, guys, that's it. That's my time. I hope you enjoyed this video as I gave you my top 10 spring fragrances of all time. As always, I appreciate your time and attention to this video because, of course, I understand. You could have been anywhere else in the world, but you took a few moments to watch this video, and I sincerely appreciate that. Now, don't forget to take a few moments to like, comment, and subscribe, and go ahead and share these videos out to some folks that you think could use this information or may find me entertaining, because I'm your guy, Darian, the Bowtie Fragrance Guy. I love to look good, and of course, I love to smell amazing. So until next time, guys, keep looking good, keep smelling even better. I'll catch you on the flip side. Peace.